Jimmy on the pod, solo act, no quitting. Madhouse bar talk, where the drinks stay spitting. Views going wild like a monkey gone rogue, running his own lane in a circus of smoke. Tito hit the eject, dipped out the scene. Jimmy steered the chaos, kept it lean and mean. No co-pilot needed. He thrives in the clash. Controversies, the stash. Raking views with a dash. Madness on the mic, sipping truth like it's gin. Every episode's a fight. Who's the champ of the spin? Randoms on the stool, spill tales from the void. Jimmy plays the villain, but the people stay buoyed. Solo flight, no wingman, just the heat. Questions unscripted, got him squirming in the seat. Joe Rogan whispers, but Jimmy got more. Clickbait machetes hacking straight to the core. Bar feels alive when the topics get steamy. Listeners keep clicking, saying this fool's dreamy. Drama be the fuel, chaos be the plan. Welcome to the Madhouse, hosted by one madman. Podcast is a wrestling ring. Jimmy's the champ. Randoms get grilled under the ring light lamp. Got foes and fans, but the numbers don't lie. Keep it raw and uncut till the Wi-Fi dies. Yeah.
Good morning. Sunday morning. World Series was last night. It's an excellent World Series. Best World Series I've seen in a long time. It had everything. We had bench clearings, Game 7, extra innings in Game 7. The setup for the Grand Slam and then didn't work. And then another setup for the Grand Slam and it didn't work. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. And it was even better because I'm not a fan of either team, so it didn't matter to me. I just enjoyed this show, which is always good. I mean, it would be better if it was the Indians, Guardians, whatever you want to call it on there. Would probably be better, but, you know, it is what it is. This morning, I wanted to talk. I wanted to get into, my wife she's been on this Candace Owens kick, you know, and Candace, she's going after, I don't know if she's going after Turning Point USA, if she's going after the Jewish, all of Israel, or just Netanyahu. I don't know what she's doing. I can't tell. She's all over the place. And I'm not sure if she's crazy or if she's spot on. I mean, it seems like she's spot on in a lot of cases, on a lot of things. But, man, it just seems like it's so far. I don't think anybody at this point is buying that the Charlie Kirk happened by just one kid showing up and doing the assassination with one shot. It's pretty hard to buy at this point. It's hard to buy that, you know, a 30-06, you know, just didn't exit a neck. Like, that's pretty hard to buy. That's a tough sell, in my opinion. It's a very tough sell. And I mean, clearly you look at like that photo of him that they show him coming upstairs, it does not look like the same guy. I mean, it does not look like the same guy. So, I mean, there's enough things that you go, okay, there's something fishy. Something ain't right. But, you know, the other thing is, too, it drives me nuts. Every podcaster out there keeps talking about him disassembling his rifle on the roof after the fact. That's not the case. I mean, anybody who watches the video, you can clearly see the gun flop over the side. He has it wrapped in a towel as he runs across the street. Like, it's not disassembled. It's not even a little bit disassembled. So I don't know why they keep bringing that up, or they're hanging their hat on that as one of the things that can't be right. That's not one of them. That rifle was assembled. It was dropped off, assembled, and it was definitely visible when he came off the roof. So it's a little frustrating when I watch all these videos that say that. But the thing is, she's going after Charlie Kirk. She's going after the wife. The wife, I gotta say, it seems something is off with Erica Kirk. And I'm not saying that she did something wrong. I don't know if she's like not a good actor, maybe. Might be the right thing. Maybe, like, I mean, not to say she's acting per se, but like she's performing in front of people, kind of. And she just goes too far, in my opinion. It's disingenuous. I mean, and people feel it when it's disingenuous. I think that's a pretty common analogy of what's going on with her, is that everybody feels that it's disingenuous. So, I mean, that whole thing, you know, it's wild for people to blame her. I don't think there's any blame to put on her. I don't think that there's any blame to put on Turning Point USA. I think people are a little bit nuts on that. And I mean, as far as Israel, I mean, that's weird too, in my opinion. And they're going after it hardcore. You know, you know, she just did a whole thing with an Egyptian plane that came out, or two of them actually, and she's marking that the planes were coming from Cairo heading to wherever Charlie Kirk was, which is weird. I'm not disagreeing that that's weird. I don't really know how that works. I don't know if Charlie Kirk is really on the radar for Israel or for anywhere else in the major world. Maybe he is. I'm not sure, though. It doesn't sound right to me. But that's just my opinion. I mean, this is a guy who walked around and talked at campuses. I mean, he had some effect on the election, certainly, but he's not making any policy. He's definitely not, or wasn't, I should say. But anyways, so then, you know, it seems like she's gone off on the deep end. And I mean, some of that, I mean, Charlie Kirk was a good friend of hers. She is definitely going out and she's, you know, trying to find out the truth. And that's, God bless her for that. I think that's one of those things that's better kept quiet when you're trying to do something like that, is trying to figure out the truth. And then when all the truth is known, then maybe you can come out. Because you don't want to go through and accuse people live, on, you know, podcast, and then it turned out to be wrong, and then you're just eating crow, and you've hurt some good people in the process. I think, anyways, it seems that way. I mean, going after Erica Kirk is a pretty tough sell. I mean, that's a pretty tough sell in my opinion, but that's just me. That being said, the other thing that happened was Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on there. For those that don't know Tucker Carlson, I think everybody knows who Tucker Carlson is. He's an ex-Fox News anchor that's started his own thing, very right-wing, very conservative. Not as right-wing and conservative as this Nick Fuentes is, but I'm not sure if I even call that right-wing. He seems racist to me, like in a horrible way, like in a neo-Nazi way. Like, go ahead and just shave your head already. I mean, that's how I feel about Nick Fuentes. He should just go ahead and shave his head. I mean, the things that he does and says are just off the wall. And it was Brandon Tatum he was speaking at the Jewish Coalition, Republican Jewish Coalition in Vegas, I think yesterday. And he brought it up. He goes, this is just wild. Like that it's just wild that he would even let him have him on there. And, you know, this is a guy who specifically says that he, you know, admires Stalin and, you know, things to this nature. And it's true. I've seen the interviews where he speaks on Stalin, that he is so smart and so intelligent. And, you know, yeah, he didn't have morals and he was an atheist and he had this and he had that. And then he brags about how smart he is. In fact, in one interview that I saw a couple months ago, he said something to the effect of him, George Washington was someone to admire, but that he wasn't as smart as Stalin. And it's like, you almost can forgive him because he's too young, like too unknowledgeable about anything yet. You know what I mean? And he's pushed to be exactly where he is his whole life. So he hasn't really gotten a chance to see the world or open up the world, nor has he had a chance to actually get out and see what living a life in America is really like for the average American. I mean, he's started a show that kind of took off pretty easy, which it seems like the shows that take off seems like it's somebody who hangs their hat on something like that. Just seems like that's, you know, somebody who is stern in their beliefs and pushes a narrative. It seems like those are the shows people love. Americans, we love it. We love the train. Actually, it's probably the whole world loves it. We love to watch a train wreck. But he just doesn't understand. You know, to say that Stalin's abilities were the reason that he achieved everything he did and all these different things, you know, he claims it to be this, his intelligence or whatever. It's his lack of morals. It's the fact that he abandoned Christianity and went straight to there is no God. And then once he abandoned those morals, then he could, and only then could he do the atrocities that he did. I mean, that's what it took, was him to abandon his morals. To say that that makes him more intelligent or makes Hitler more intelligent, it's just not true. I mean, I'm sure George Washington understands you can gain power and do the things you want to do by murdering everybody around you that disagrees, and then you can get everything done that you want to get done. That's not intelligence. That's a lack of morals. That's a lack of values. That's a lack of faith. That's what, when you become, when you become an atheist and you believe that there is no, this is it, this is the life, and it's all that matters. So at that point, you don't have to answer to God for your atrocities. You don't have to answer to anybody for anything you're about to do. So it's kind of, I don't know how you put it. It's a lack of knowledge on his behalf. See, that's where he would have, if he had that same interview that he had with Tucker Carlson with the Charlie Kirk that was prepared and ready to go. Tucker is somebody who, and God bless him, nothing against him. I love Tucker Carlson. I like that he does put people on that he doesn't 100% agree with. I usually like that he pushes back. You know what I mean? That's usually something that he's pretty good about. He did not push back on Fuentes, and I feel like he should have pushed back on Fuentes because, I mean, he's just a he is definitely he's basically he is a Nazi. I mean, you know, or he pushes that. I mean, he pushes white Christianism, or supremacy, white Christian supremacy. He pushes, and he blames things on people based on their race. I seen him in an interview say something to the effect of, you know, well, I could see Asians doing that, or I could, you know, it's just an odd thing that he does. It's just, it really is. It's a horrible, horrible thing. It really is. And he pushes against Israel the worst. I mean, he is definitely anti-Semitic. And I mean, I mean, he doesn't deny that. He definitely is anti-Semitic 100% of the way, and thinks that America shouldn't be there with Israel and helping Israel. Now, I mean, I don't know how I feel about Netanyahu, and if Netanyahu is good or bad. I really don't know. But I mean, I did that interview with that Mark Patikins when he wrote that book, The Holy Land at War, where he had went there after October 7th. And I guess I seen the paratrooper things, you know, where they were coming in with the paratroopers, but I didn't understand until I sat and talked with him, and he's explaining to me. I mean, he's explaining to me the way that they came into not just communities that were far. They were right over the border where they came in. They came in right over the border, and they started going in door to door, knocking on doors, beating down doors, and going in and killing and raping people. Raping, I don't know about. I've heard it, but I don't, definitely killing. They definitely were just walking down the street. And the thing that Mark was telling me about that was that he goes, the thing is, the people that lived up against the wall, those were the people that were fighting for Palestinians. They were the ones that believed that, Palestinians are good people. That's why they lived where they lived. They chose to live there because they believed in the Palestinian people. And then Hamas comes in and they do these atrocious things on October 7th. I mean, the things that they did were absolutely horrific. I mean, and anybody, any one of us that are Americans have never faced anything like that. And these young kids that are, protesting and saying that we shouldn't have went into Gaza, or nobody should have went into Gaza and done that's not the same thing. It's not this, that. Boy, I'll tell you, I'd hate to see the country that ever walked into the United States and went door to door killing people on our street, just through your neighborhood. I mean, look out your window right now. Look at your neighborhood. Look at every house on the block and just imagine these Hamas soldiers just coming in, beating the door down and dragging everybody out, killing them. Just imagine it. And just imagine it. It's not something that's going to happen. That what America would do to whoever did that would look worse than Gaza. I promise you that. And you would want it to be. These same people that are protesting, if this happened in their neighborhood, if they came through and they went door to door and beat down the door and went in shooting people and killing everyone on the block, you'd sign up for the military then. Then you'd be ready to go after Hamas at that point. But for you to sit there and down Israel like they shouldn't have went into Gaza, that's insanity. Has it went too far? Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know enough about it. I know that they're dug in. I know that they're hiding in hospitals. I know they're hiding. And if you got to get them out of there, you got to get them out of there. They have to be beaten. It just has to be happen. They will not understand anything else. It's been years and years of war, and this is the only thing that they understand. I mean, and it's an extreme wing of the Muslim belief system, and it's definitely not a belief in every Muslim. Not all Muslims believe this way, but there is an extreme ideology, and it's going on in Africa now. Nigeria, they're going through and extinguishing Christians. I mean, we don't hear about it a lot, but it's happening. And you just heard Trump yesterday tell Pete Hegseth to get ready. Get ready. We're going in if we have to. Either Nigerian government gets that shit under control, or we're coming in. And God bless. That's what needs to happen. I mean, that's the same thing. These people are just at church. They're coming in, killing everybody, burning down a church. They don't want anybody to be Christian. And I guess that's the thing that causes the big problems, is this extreme belief and bullshit that goes on in with people with their religion. And God, we're all praying to the same God, and God isn't ever asking us to go murder and kill anyone. But like Stalin, these unintelligent people who think that the only way to do something is to, in their instance, they say God wants them to do it. And Stalin's, he just had to ignore God because it was Christian values. And we know that Christian values never allow for that. So Stalin had to ignore it to move on and get what he wanted. Doesn't make him more intelligent. Everybody knows that if you murder everyone around you, you could do whatever you want. If you murder anybody that protests you, you could do whatever you want. Making that and holding that guy up to an intelligence, saying that guy is an intelligent person because he solely did just that, that's all he did, that is an ignorant statement. But at the same time, this is just, you guys all forget, this is a young kid. He has to wear a suit and tie for us to take him serious. You know what I mean? If he doesn't have the suit and tie, he would look like your teenage son. You know what I mean? He just he has no real argument to make. He has no real values in anything like that. I don't even think he has any what's the word? He doesn't have any thing to measure it against. All he's doing is reading books and internet and watching the History Channel. And he's telling you what's going on in the world and how it's messed up or not messed up. And he has no clue. And the first sign is when you say that somebody who abandoned their values and started murdering and killing to get what they wanted was smarter. No, they weren't smarter. They abandoned their morals and values. See, if the Muslim people wanted to get you to, and that is their goal. Muslim people, their goal, and that's in their belief, the same as it is in Jehovah's Witnesses' belief. Their goal is to try and get as many people to adhere to the Muslim belief and Sharia law. That's what their goal is. The problem is they're not smart enough or intelligent enough to do it without going out and killing somebody who doesn't want to do it. They can't offer you something that looks better. They can't offer you something that looks like, this is what I want to do. They can't offer you anything that per se is better than what you're seeing in your Christian values. So they'll just kill you because they're not smart enough. It's not that they don't have Muslim beliefs. I mean, some of them are pretty good. Me personally, I just don't. I had this conversation with the comedian that I had on the other day. I had this conversation. Me personally, I don't understand why every prophet since Jesus decides that they get to have multiple women. And in Muhammad's case, they could be as young as he wants them to be. To me, that's pretty disgusting. He just decides that he's the prophet, or everybody decides he's the prophet, whoever it is that decides it. And then all of a sudden he decides that means he gets as many wives as he wants, and they could be as young as he wants. He can have any of them. It don't matter. He can be a pedophile. I mean, it's wild to me that it even gets that far. And it's true with, other religions too, where they believe that they get multiple wives and things to that effect. You know what I mean? It's just, it's a really weird, it's really weird. And the reason Christians stick with like a Judeo-Christian is basically that there's in the Old, we're in the New Testament, and it's the same religion. We just feel like Jesus, the Messiah, has come already. And they don't. And the book tells us that they will eventually. They'll see it. That's the story they tell us. You know what I mean? But at any point, and you know what? That's weird too. Now that's a good statement. Now that I think about it, we should have all Jewish holidays plus Christian holidays, right? I mean, what the hell? If we're just a continuation of them, where's our frickin' Hanukkah? What the hell's going on here? Where's our festival of light? And I'm confused. Somebody will have to explain that to me someday. But seriously, though, why is it that every religion that every prophet since Jesus has decided that they just get multiple wives? I mean, we've seen it here, and you see it with the LDS Church. You see it with whatever. Well, I don't know what those churches were like. The I guess they probably were Mormon too. Those same churches, like the Waco, Texas, and all that. All these religions. Everybody who becomes powerful over the community because of religion, and people start to see him as a prophet, decides what I'm supposed to have is all kinds of women. I'm supposed to have lots of women. I mean, and nobody goes, what the fuck? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Why, how many people have fallen for you're supposed to have multiple women? And Muhammad definitely was one of those that had was allowed to have as many women and as young women as he seen fit. And why? Because he was the prophet? That's weird. That's just bizarre to me. Like, why do you need to have so many, women if you're the prophet? It's very odd. I remember too, like one time, there was a Jewish man, a friend of mine, and we were talking. We were having a discussion. He's a contractor in east side of Cleveland, and we were having a discussion at the time. We were talking about, how come Jewish people seem to be so much more successful than everyone else. And you know what his belief was, and I'm not saying that he's right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it at all. But he said in the olden days, your leaders were your higher ups in the church, your pastors. And so that's who ran your community, said in the olden days, years and years and years ago. He said, and Jewish people had as many kids as they wanted, and Catholics took their leaders and didn't have them procreate. And he blamed that on why Jewish people do better than Catholics and Christians. I mean, Christian being a spinoff of Catholic in his verbiage. But I don't know if he's right or wrong. I think we're well past that. I mean, well, Catholics are still doing that, but they're not leading everything. I mean, the Pope runs the church, but we don't really know how that goes on and where that goes on at. But Brandom Tatum was at his conference, and he was quite aggravated. He didn't even want to bring up Tucker Carlson's name. He didn't want to bring up Fuentes' name. And I can understand why. He's gonna, that those guys are gonna feel like he's attacking them or whatever. But I mean, I think he's being honest. I mean, I think it's an honest opinion. I think that Tucker Carlson goes a little too far sometimes. And I'm okay with that. I mean, that I think that being strong in your convictions is always a good thing. I think that he definitely has seen the world. He's a little older. He wouldn't say the things that Fuentes says. He wouldn't idolize Stalin because he has seen the world a little bit. And I think that that's just a youth thing on Fuentes. I would have to believe that at some point he abandons that theory because he's seeing it all wrong. Definitely, they're talking genius. They're calling genius for just being evil. You know what I mean? Which is really, really, really weird. I mean, that's like saying that, for instance, that's like saying that in Nigeria that this Islamic extremist group is a bunch of geniuses. No, they're not genius. That's not smart. It's immoral. They just lose their morals and decide, okay, attack Christians, which is with extreme Islam, extreme Islam, they don't abandon their morals. They believe that God told them. That's their excuse for it, is that they believe that that's what they're supposed to do according to Muhammad, and Sharia law, which is, I mean, I think that in everybody, I would imagine, unless you're a serial killer, I would think that in everybody, there's got to be something inside of you. Maybe to me, maybe that's Jesus lives in me. But I would think that there's something inside of you that tells you what you're doing is wrong. I mean, if you go into a church and you see family and kids and children and they're worshiping Jesus and you don't agree with that and you start killing them and then burn down their church, at what point wasn't there something inside of you that said, this doesn't feel right? This doesn't seem right. This isn't, like, there's nothing inside of you there? I mean, that just doesn't add up. And I mean, I get there's the people that'll follow along. I get that. You have the people that go along, like the Nazis did in Germany, which there's got to be people there that were, they knew that what they were doing was wrong. And they just followed along. I've seen it here, actually. When we had COVID shut down, we seen it at that point. I seen people turn on the fellow Americans and turn them into the police. When I had my restaurant, I had multiple people calling the police on me because we were allowed to be open on the patio, and they just would call the police driving by and saying they don't have enough distance in there or whatever it is. And it was all based on, in my opinion, bullshit. But It's the same thing with these Christian beliefs or not Christian, these Muslim beliefs where they abandon their morals and start murdering. It just doesn't feel like that. I mean, nobody has nightmares. None of these people go home and have nightmares like, oh my God, what did I do? How do you not? How does that not happen to you? Is that solely the lack of Jesus in your soul? Or I don't understand. I don't get it. And it happens, I guess, with like in Stalin's case, he abandoned Christianity 100%. He abandoned it and he said, I'm atheist. I don't believe in God. So then anything he did didn't matter. No consequences. I'm all powerful. I do whatever I want. That's how he dealt with it. In the extreme Islamic belief, I guess it's that they believe that they're doing the work of God. I guess. I don't know. It's still like, how can you feel like you're doing the work of God and doing such atrocious things? How can you not look at a human being that looks like you, in fact, that looks just like you? In fact, I would imagine if you're a Nigerian Islamic extremist and you're walking into a church of this isn't a white-black thing. These are black and black. And you walk in and you see these children, I got to believe some of them look like your own kids, your own nieces and nephews. They have to look similar, at least. I mean, that none of them put you in that mind. None of them said, hey, this isn't cool. No, but nothing at no point ever. What kind of evil exists to cause such a thing? I mean, and it's the same as what happened on October 7th, and everybody wants to, when October 7th first happened, everybody wanted Gaza to be a parking lot. Every single person was like, level them, fuck it, level them, I'm done. When 9/11 happened, we're like, level the whole Middle East, the whole thing, we're done, I'm done, I just level the whole thing. And we were all about it. And then you hear Tucker Carlson, he goes on this whole thing with 9/11 was all like on purpose so that we can go to war. Like it doesn't, I mean, do you guys really believe that this is what goes on? It's crazy to me that people believe it like that. And they believe it wholeheartedly. It's genuine. They believe this 100% that is the case. Were there mistakes made? Sure. Absolutely. There was mistakes made. Was it done on purpose to go to war with the Middle East to get oil? Come on, I don't believe that. I don't believe that even a little bit. I mean, you've got to be a sick individual to play that kind of game, to take it to that level and then never get caught. I mean, I would think somehow, some way you would get caught in that situation and you wouldn't even risk it. I wouldn't think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe that is what it is. Maybe I'm the crazy one and everybody else that thinks that there's all these different things. Now, granted, I read the book Chaos Blew My Mind. I go, wow, this government does some crazy shit. It's wild what they'll do. But I don't think that it would go to that extreme. I don't believe that. I wholeheartedly don't believe that. But either way, I'm not here to complain about how Tucker Carlson handled his 9/11 series that he did. I was really just about Nick Fuentes. I think he should have went after Nick Fuentes much harder than he did. I think he should have questioned him harder. He should have. I mean, he's the elder in this situation. He's much smarter than Nick Fuentes is. He is well learned. He's worldly by far compared to Nick Fuentes. Now, I'm not saying Nick Fuentes hasn't seen the world. I'm not saying that. But he hasn't, I don't think he's served tables. I don't think he's lived the average American life. He just goes off on these rants over some YouTube videos or books that he read, which he has no knowledge. It's kind of like if you remember Good Will Hunting. If you remember that, where he talks about the painting. And, he tells him, I think you're 1 minute away from slicing your neck open or whatever. And it really got to Robin Williams and then the whole scene or whatever. And then he brings up to him, yeah, you can read it, you can tell it, but you haven't lived it. You don't know what it's like. You have no idea what it's like. And this is the case with Nick Fuentes, because this is why he idolizes someone he calls intelligent, because they lost their moral compass. That's a person that's guided by evil. It's not an intelligent person. Stalin was never an intelligent person. Saying that he's smart enough to make the decision to be immoral and atrocious, that's not smart. That's a lack of morals. It's absolutely a lack of morals. And Brandon Tatum's right about it. And Brandon Tatum is someone I kind of side with that guy most of the time. I mean, he kind of sits right about where I sit. I sit pretty conservative, but it has nothing to do with this bullshit that Fuentes is spitting out. Fuentes is just trying to, he likes the controversy because it gets him views. I don't know what it is. But in my opinion, he's just a dumb kid that don't know nothing, that needs to go learn what the world is really like, to find out what it's like to struggle and have to pay the bills and live in project housing and try and survive. One paycheck at a time and things like that. Yeah, did he do it a couple times? Sure. But he hasn't done it with a wife. He hasn't done it where he had to have kids waiting on food. He doesn't know shit. He don't know a damn thing. And everybody's picking at him, or everybody's taking what he says so seriously and worried about what he said. And Tucker Carlson puts him on his podcast and sits down and talks to him without pushback. That's the key to me. Is without pushback, because I've seen him push back. Tucker Carlson is not somebody who doesn't push back. I've seen it on numerous occasions. Why does he let him walk in there and not push back? It doesn't make sense to me. Is it that Tucker Carlson knew that would be a battle? Did he have some kind of pre-written I won't push back note? I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me why he wouldn't push back on this kid who is clearly an anti-Semitic, anti-frickin' anything. He just only believes in, like, he just wants white Christian. That's it. That's all he wants. He's in my opinion, he's as bad as an Islamic extremist. He just doesn't have the leadership yet. He doesn't have the role yet. But once he gets there, who knows what he would do. And then he goes after J.D. Vance. Here's a man who knows about character. Here's a man who has seen it and done it and raising a family and raising. There's a man that when it comes to intelligence and character, Nick Fuentes, you can't touch. Sorry, but you can't. You're just a young kid. You should sit down, pay attention. I can respect that you did good on social media. You hit it at the right time. People know who you are. If you keep making ignorant comments, we're going to keep knowing who you are. But it's at best, it's going to get you shot at some point. That's about the best thing that can come out of continuing down that path and not opening your eyes to see what's going on around you. Because clearly, being intelligent is definitely not the same thing as losing your moral compass. Okay? So I guess that's all I really had today. I seen that whole thing going on. My wife's been on this Candace Owens things. I don't know what Candace. She's one that I wouldn't hang my hat on what's going on. I've seen her be right about stuff. But then I don't know. I mean, I just don't like her attacking Turning Point or Erica Kirk, and I just think that it's a bad idea to do. I don't like it. I don't know what her. I really don't know. I don't know. I always liked Candace, but the thing is with her is that she lost me when she started going so hard on Brigitte Macron, and now she's doing the same thing on Charlie Kirk. And I'm not saying she lost me. I still respect Candace. I think she's highly intelligent. I think she's a beautiful woman, and well-spoken, and a good friend to Charlie Kirk, certainly. But I just, she loses me when she gets too far in and puts it all out on there without the ahead of time. Like I enjoyed her podcast when she waited and then put everything out about Macron after she was, quote, allowed to, because she was asked not to do it. I like that one. I wish she would have done the same thing with Charlie Kirk. I wish somebody would have said, hey, why don't you do your research, dig into it. You could do it all while we're waiting. We're but just don't say nothing yet. I think that would have been much better. And I certainly would have loved to have seen her speak at Charlie Kirk's services, because nobody deserved to be there more than her. So with that, I guess I'm getting out of here. And happy Sunday to everybody. No Browns football for us today. Thank God. I don't know if I could do another one. I needed a break as much as they did. All right, I'm out of here. Peace.
Jimmy on the pod, solo act, no quitting. Madhouse bar talk, where the drinks stay spitting. Views going wild like a monkey gone rogue, running his own lane in a circus of smoke. Guido hit the eject, dipped out the scene. Jimmy steered the chaos, kept it lean and mean. No co-pilot needed. He thrives in the clash. Controversies, the stash. Raking views with a dash. Madness on the mic, sipping